Although this is our first video in English, in the future we will start making them regularly. And if you want NTS to start streaming in English, then please write it down in the comments below and share this video with your friends. So the current season of strife, winter is upon us, is coming to an end. How did it turn out for us and all the alliances participating in Division 4002? Why are we publishing this video now? And why is it suddenly in English? That's what we're going to talk about. Actually, it's very simple. The end of season is the time when some alliances have achieved their goals while others have failed. It's the time when most active players are hunted and time when alliances do their best to keep current players from migrating. Simply put, this is a time of manipulations, history rewriting, and in some cases even lies. This kind of thing always happens, of course, but since many of the largest and best organized alliances of this game were put together in the same division, the level of manipulation is also the highest we've seen so far. For example, in recent weeks, it has been widely reported that Ekko has decided not to ally with NTS due to the arrogance of NTS. We've heard things like, NTS demands the dragon in exchange for a union with Ekko. This is purely a lie that was made up in order to somehow explain Ekko players why they had to lose the season and retreat when they could have won. But let's start with the beginning. So, we're at the start of the season. The roster of the season is revealed. No one knows any details about the map. Only the different locations of alliances are visible. Within the first few hours, we learn that Noir has entered into a union with RK, Kong, and GG. To be honest, that was not too surprising and even pretty logical. Noir thought that Ekko would form an alliance with BXS and NTS, and on paper, it would have resulted in more or less 2 equal blocks, where the strongest would win. That's what we NTS also thought. So we, in the person of Mark, wrote almost immediately to Saad, who's the leader of Ekko, asking for the possibility of becoming allies and compete with Noir and their allies. We got an answer in which they said they were discussing among themselves, and learned a few hours later that they finally decided to go alone and fight everyone. Why did they do that? Did they think they could beat everyone on their own? We have no clue. But more importantly, why spread lies about the reasons for the absence of union? Why couldn't a union be made later? Again, so many questions, and in the end, the union never happened. Next, NTS defeated RK and Kong in the first zone, and decided to fight Ekko in the second one. Initially, our task was like, we will fight them for exactly 2 days. We want to show ourselves to this game's community to show that even smaller alliances are able to fight anyone with the right level of organization and dedication. We chose not to build 1 million flags, fortresses, and keeps to slow Ekko down. No. We wanted a clear field, an open battle, which is, in our opinion, the most interesting thing in this game. Finally, we achieved our goal in this zone. In order to push us through, Ekko had to start healing, using the resources they were preparing for Noir. We then returned to the first zone against Kong, who had captured half the zone during our absence and pushed them back. Next was the last zone. Here, our first task was just to have fun and fight everyone. The second was to show Ekko that one alliance, no matter how cool and strong it is, cannot win the season surrounded by that many opponents. Noir did not show their maximum. Their level of participation and dedication was kind of disappointing, and we are sure that they understand this themselves and will clean up inactive players and replace them in future seasons. But during this season, we had very good chance to inflict a very painful defeat on them. If we were in a union, NTS would have played completely differently. We wouldn't have gone to sleep, we would have supported our allies until the end, and would have spent much more resources on healing. We would have been able to hold Kong and RK back in defense and help Ekko with our main forces against Noir, eventually preventing them from building up to the dragon. Then we would have secured the dragon, built defenses, and that's it. Noir in their current conditions wouldn't have been able to knock out both Ekko and NTS. And before that, we would have helped BXS enter the final zone, so that they could block GG, preventing them from coming to help Noir. The chances of winning would have been very high. Instead, after fighting Noir for a while, and having no wish to spend more resources on healing, again, what was the point? We simply decided to leave this zone. Like in the previous zone against Ekko, we decided not to build many flags, fortresses, bastions. What for? We could do this as well as other alliances, but we didn't see any point in it. We fought on the field and just enjoyed it. realizing that there was no point defending this territory. We could have pushed Ekko with Noir, since they wanted to fight against everyone, but we decided to leave. Hopefully we didn't upset them. Anyway, we reached our goals this season. We are now resting and preparing for the next one, conducting interviews with candidates to our alliance. For those who continue to believe that there was no alliance with Ekko, only because of NTS' inability to share the dragon, remember that for 4 seasons, NTS was put in the same division as ROE and held the dragon only once, giving it to allies in other cases. So that's how this season went. As a result, NTS will grow even more, accepting many new players and removing those who weren't active enough. If you love PvP, if you are a team player who loves fighting alongside disciplined and organized warriors, reach out to Mark and join our international alliance.